this moment, I would like to ask our good friend and partner, Herzl Makov, to deliver his opening comments.
Let's see if I need the glasses or not. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Vietnam, Mr. Lee Duc Trang, Mayor of Efrat, Oda Dravivi, Ms. Cheryl Chombley from the Washington Times, Sir Ivan Lawrence, Dr. Paul Rubig. Yeah, I think the other haven't arrived yet. But most important, our good friend Joel, Anat Sami, and Natasha. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you here to the Menachem Begin Heritage Center for this Jerusalem Leaders Summit. For those of you who are visiting our center for the first time, I want to welcome you especially. I am proud to say that today, the Menachem Begin Heritage Center is one of Israel's leading institutes for Zionist education. At the center, we have collected and archived all of Menachem Begin's speeches and writings. Alongside our museum about Begin's life and achievements, we also run a wide variety of educational programs, teaching and inspiring people with Begin's model of leadership, his devotion to the Jewish people, and his commitment to Israel's security and prosperity. There are many things that can be said about Menachem Begin. As a prime minister with so many achievements in just 6 years in office, as a leader of the opposition, staying true to his principle and defending Israeli democracy, as a freedom fighter for his people, one of the founding fathers of the reborn Jewish state. I'd like, with your permission, to focus, though, on two very specific aspects of the man and on one of his most far-reaching achievements. The first is that Menachem Begin was a man of faith. It is perhaps confusing for Israel Christian friends to think of the Jewish state with an entirely secular leadership. Yet, this was the case for the first 29 years of Israel's existence. Israel governments were led by the Labour Party until Begin's dramatic election victory in 1977. This socialist government were led by the likes of David Ben-Gurion, Levi Eshkol, and Golda Meir. Make no mistake, these were great patriotic Israeli leaders, but they had no connection to traditional Judaism. Begin was quite different. He was a man of deep reverence for the Jewish tradition. His speeches were often littered with biblical references. We have a recording on our archive at the Begin Center of an interview that Begin gave to an American television in 1981. He concludes the interview with the following words: "I am a simple man. I am working for my people. I fought for just cause, and so I will continue, with all the deep faith in my heart, faith in God, and faith in divine providence." And this brings me to the second aspect I want to focus on. It was Menachem Begin who first embraced the growing community of Christian Zionists in the United States and other states. On the American side, there were a great many men and women who had contributed to establish the connection. But on Israeli side, Begin stands as a singular figure responsible for welcoming Christian Zionism and setting the stage for the extraordinary relationship that exists today. Begin was a man of faith. He had a deep and instinctive respect for other men and women of faith. He read the biblical prophets with their promises of the Jewish return to Zion in the same way, with the same conviction as our Christian friends. And speaking of conviction, he arrived to the Prime Minister's office in 1977 with a mission to make peace. This surprised many around the world who had been warned by Begin's political rivals here that he was a warmonger. They were sure that peace between Israel and the Arabs was impossible with Begin as Prime Minister. And as we know, they could not have been more wrong. He actively pursued peace with Egypt, and it was his combination of cautious pragmatism and unwavering principles which made him the first Israeli leader to sign a peace agreement with an Arab state. Not just any Arab state, but the leader of the Arab world. I know that today we will be hearing about the Abraham Accord, the sequel to Begin's groundbreaking achievement. It is not always easy to be hopeful about the Middle East. This is not a region that inspires optimism. But the Abraham Accord was a shining exception, a moment of hope and an example of what is possible when leaders can put aside their prejudice and can reject the false narratives that for so long were used to justify hatred of Israel and of Jews. Today I'm sure we will hear plenty of hope and optimism, and perhaps also a little about the threat we face as well. I look forward very much to hearing from the wonderful speakers that have been invited and had agreed to come here today. Joel and Natasha, you have worked tirelessly to make this event happen. I want to thank you personally for your efforts and for your commitment to the values which our two countries share. Thank you for all you do to strengthen the unique bonds between Israel and the United States of America. Thank you all for coming and enjoy the evening.